It's now recording. Okay, you can start.
Hi, I'm Salah Eldin. I am a Sudanese Aberdonian poet and spoken word artist. And I'm the poet who wrote the poem Skin, which is going to be the center, or our theatre performance is going to be centered around it. Firstly, I'm going to start by reading the poem for you, and then I'm going to take you through the lines and what does it mean to me. Okay. After therapy, I wanted this body to breathe, wanted out of the dust like a genie, but healing took time. After trauma, my body, a universe reborn, sitting within my core, swam naked into the Nile, facing the sun, not as an offering, but thirsty to find that kingdom. Where are all the mermaids who live on their own, far from men who gaze at bodies, men who dictate fate? Wash me of uninvited entries, fingerprints, scents. Open your arms, take in bone, skin, soul. I plunged 3 times, once as farewell to before, once for the birthing of now, once more for this blessing, for this skin. My poem Skin is a very personal poem to me. I wrote it after having therapy to navigate some sort of suppressed traumatic childhood events that resulted in PTSD occurring in my late 20s. And some of the lines of the poems will be self-explanatory as well. I called it skin because skin, of course, is the largest organ of our bodies, and as a result of trauma, at times I felt that I was not comfortable in my own skin, and I wanted to just try to break out of it. But then, of course, with the help of therapy and reflecting, I grew to love my skin. I grew to offer compassion to it. So Skin, the poem, is actually a poem acknowledging the past, but also celebrating the journey in between, the journey of sort of the self-discovery and the journey of the birth and getting to know myself. And a close element that helped in healing is the water. And I mentioned the Nile. I'm born and raised in Khartoum, Sudan, which is the capital of Sudan. But Khartoum, the city, the blue and the white Nile, which I picture like arms, they come and meet in Khartoum. It's called the joint of the Nile, Multaqa Nilain, to form the River Nile. So the River Nile has formed a big part of my childhood. And growing up, I used to go to the sort of another states where my grannies, my mums and my dad's side of the family used to live. And my mum was born and raised in a state called the River Nile state. And that, going on holidays, that has formed like one of the most joyous sort of experiences that I had. And I remember, like the Nile, and there are sort of green bushes next to the Nile as well, palm trees, mango trees as well. And my mum's auntie, she used to be the storyteller of the family, or in the family. So I remember like at night time, and the sky will be nice and dark, there'll be some stars there, and it will only be the moon, sometimes the moonlight, or sometimes we use some sort of oil lamp. And all the stories that that you can maybe see in my poem here, like when I mentioned that I swam naked into the Nile facing the sun, because the sun as well, sort of in Nubian traditions, it signifies, of course, light and a sort of joy as well. And then when I was looking to find that kingdom, my granny used to tell us about like sort of figures of women that used to be found in the Nile. They were like women. The upper half is of a naked woman, and then the lower half is of a fish. And they used to be smaller than what a human being would look like. And in my head, I felt that was like sort of these were mermaids, and so when I swam in the Nile, like this drove me back to my childhood. Will I find those mermaids? Will there be sort of a kingdom of mermaids where they live there and they're far away from human reach, from unwanted gaze and touch and all that? So that's why I've mentioned it here. And the Nile and life, to me, they are, I feel sometimes the same face of different face of the same coin. Because like the Nile, like I could picture myself, I close my eyes, hearing the flow of the water, and then the way that has the sort of the wavy flow to it. Sometimes can be nice flowing, and sometimes it can be just sort of angry at times and strong, just whenever there's sort of the flooding season in July. And and to me, this is life, really. Like it can be sometimes static, it can be sometimes faced with tribulations and high and low points, but it will continue to flow, and so is life. You take your time to heal and grow, and it will just continue to flow. And the Nile as well in Sudan, and sort of all Nubian traditions in the northern part of Sudan, it signified life, as it's the livelihood of the people was around the Nile. People used to say farewell to their loved ones by going and passing the Nile as well, and giving them a wash with the Nile water. They used to celebrate marriage by the bride and the groom will go there and they will drink from the water, and offerings will be made to the Nile, and there will be like the guests will be sort of having eating some sort of sweet rice. And when the woman gives birth as well, it's a tradition in the northern part of Sudan that the woman will stay there in her house for 40 days, doesn't go out, but will be catered and looked after. And on the 40th day, they will take the woman who gave birth with the baby to the Nile, and they give the baby a wash, and the lady will have a wash, and there will be sort of ululations and sounds of joy as well. That's coming with the birth, and this also reflects in my poem here when I was talking about I plunged 3 times, so once as farewell to before, and it's farewell, which for me to say farewell to that part of me, which was that had trauma in it, and it did shape a big part of my life. I had to acknowledge it, I had to accept it, I have to work with it, which is the thing that I'm still doing. And for me, writing the poem and speaking about it and giving it life, which I'm trying to do in this sort of theatre performance, and my work to give it life, I speak about myself and many women and girls who were like me, had a sort of similar experience, and until I was done with my therapy, I found the words to speak about it and hopefully bring it to life through the theatre performance. So I'm saying farewell to that part, and I'm celebrating the birth. It was the birth of my daughter, actually. When I fell pregnant, it was a big, I wouldn't call it trauma, but it's made me look into my body, into the relationship with my body, and that actually my body was able to carry joy and to give life out of it. So that was celebrating of her birth and my birth as well. And then for thanking the blessing of the skin, because for so many years I didn't like my skin, in a sense of, I was happy, of course, color and everything, but I just wanted to get out of it, because all the feelings that I couldn't control. But, I grew to love it. I'm acknowledging what happened to it. I'm compassionate. And so I'm thankful for this blessing for the skin. And the poem Skin is a poem of, sort of celebration of women, celebration of the past, celebration of birth, celebration of life, with all its ups and downs. And I hope that collaboration between myself, Helen and Lorraine is going to take you through this journey as well. Thank you.